Welcome to another episode of Fave 5 from Fans, the podcast where we explore all things favorite. I'm your host, Jamie Ray, and today, for probably the 13th time, joining me to discuss another favorite is going to be my friend and yours, the dad with all of the stuff. I don't know. I'm making this up. It's Jay Hall. Welcome back, Jay.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm trying to figure out what stuff I have.
Yeah, I mean, you got the books, you got the professor, you got the ponytail, man.
For that, yeah, all these things.
I mean, makes me a little sick, but whatever. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good. I am.
You look good.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It is summertime, and I know that it's probably hotter where you are than where I am, but it's miserably hot here in the OKC.
Yeah,
but
we have gotten rain, torrential rain, almost every day for like the last 3 weeks.
We had some of that. It's kind of stopped now, but it was kind of nuts for a little bit. But I would be remiss if I did not state at this point, mentioning OKC, that the Thunder are one game away from being NBA champions. Thank you very much.
Wow. How many innings did they play?
I know that's meaningful to you, and you're going to make me sad with everything you say after this, but there's somebody out there who is either really aggravated that that's true or really excited that's true. So, sports fan, welcome. You're my people. OKC.
I don't know. I hear words. I'm just not quite sure what you're doing with them. But I'm sure it's fine.
8. It is great. We've been waiting a long time for this.
All right, so what are we going to be talking about? So originally I gave you a title, but then last night, as I'm scrolling through and doing it, I came up with a better title for this episode. So you ready?
Before you give it to me,
okay.
Will it be okay if I don't think it's a better title?
Yes, it is. It won't matter, but it's okay if you don't think it's a better title.
All right. Yeah, I'm good.
So Jay Hall is coming in today for us to discuss Simians in cinema.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. Thank you. Except that
I figured you would.
Mine aren't all from cinema, but we'll make it work.
So, what does that mean? So basically, we're talking about orangutans, chimpanzees, gorillas, any of that whole type of family that was in movies or TV. Or knowing Jay, he may have written a book when he was 3 years old about a gorilla that gave out ice cream and could be on his list. I don't know.
And as soon as we get done, I'm excited about that book.
Yeah, I really don't know. But what I did is I asked Mr. Hall to make a list. And everybody listening, I wanted his 5 favorite and up to 2 honorable mentions. So if you take 2 and you take 5, that makes 7. Okay? Let's see how he did.
Okay, so a couple of things I want to say. When look at your face. When you and I first said, "Hey, we're doing this," I told you that within 60 seconds I had a list of 10.
Right.
That list expanded to 21 total by the end of it.
Okay.
But, and then today, as we were texting about this, you said that you had given up on me ever following the rules. So yes. Jamie Ray, today, on my 13th-ish appearance, I am going to follow your rules.
No, you're not.
I am.
Look, Lucy. I may look like Charlie Brown, but I ain't. I don't care if you hold that football.
I'm not going to pull the football. I'm telling you, I have 7.
Okay.
Now, if you need me to cheat,
no.
14 more in the chamber ready to go, but I've got 7 that I'm ready to do.
All right. Well, if you actually really have 7, then I say, why don't you go ahead and give us your honorable mentions?
Okay. My first honorable mention is I'm going to say the OG, and that's original gorilla, video game Simian, Mr. Donkey Kong. who
Now,
started his journey. Oh, go ahead. All right. What are you going to ask me?
is he a junior though, or is that came later?
I came later.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of me. No, the original is Donkey Kong. Standing on the top of the building, throwing barrels at poor Mario.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's the one we played in the arcade.
Yeah, just when we were much younger than we are now. He just wants to rescue Pauline, and Donkey Kong doesn't want that to happen. That's where he started. When Donkey Kong came out in 1981, it exploded, and Nintendo did not think it would. They did not. They actually put here's your useless trivia, but there's lots of it coming.
Now what we're doing, we're calling this Fun Facts.
Fun fact.
Sponsored by Red Dog Terrain.
We need like a thing that comes across there real quick.
It does. Just wait.
They developed Donkey Kong because they had a bunch of old arcade cabinets from a game that didn't work out. Nobody cared anything about. They had to put something in it. So they developed Donkey Kong real quick, and it exploded, became one of the most successful video games ever. Spun off. So then we had Donkey Kong Jr., we had Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong's a huge part of like the Mario Kart franchise and
right.
Those games. He had his own TV show, own cartoon for about 3 years on Saturday mornings, which harkens back to a previous conversation we had. He was everywhere. Donkey Kong Jr., there's a Diddy Kong, which might not be a popular thing to talk about.
Puff Diddy. What? No, I don't even want to know how that game works.
Not that. But here's, lots of fascinating things about this. But I did not know this. I learned this today. Donkey Kong was originally supposed to be a Popeye video game.
Okay.
And they couldn't get the rights. So Popeye became Mario.
Okay.
Oil became Pauline. And Bluto became Donkey Kong.
Makes sense.
Thus, a legend was born.
Yeah, so makes total sense.
Your favorite video game gorilla and mine, Donkey Kong.
That's crazy. That's a good choice.
Oh, I got to give you one more thing about it. One more thing about it real quick. I almost forgot, and I'd be sad if I forgot. Have you ever seen the documentary The King of Kong?
No.
Okay. This is probably 15 years old now. There's a fantastic documentary about a guy who was on a mission to set the all-time Donkey Kong record.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I have seen that, though. I mean, not the whole documentary, but something about him. And
it sounds like the most boring thing on earth, but I'm telling you, this documentary is an hour and a half, like most of them are. It's got villains and heroes. It's got controversy. It's got intrigue. It's got all kinds of stuff. It is so fun.
Wow.
So if you have an hour and a half to kill, I'm sure it's out there somewhere streaming. Go find the King of Kong and celebrate one more Donkey Kong thing.
There you go. Have a barrel full of fun.
Oh, you were hanging on to that one, weren't you?
I was. As soon as you said it, I knew it.
Knew it was coming.
Knew it was going to come. All right. Well, that's good. So that's one. See, we have two. So I'll put this finger down. That's one left.
Yep. That's all I got. I got one more. And I want to go about as far in the other direction as I possibly can.
Okay.
My second honorable mention. My second honorable mention is Gordy from Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gordy the chimpanzee from Nope. My very first appearance on this show, we talked about Nope.
Uh-huh.
And now we've come full circle. I don't know if that means this is my last time or what that means.
You know, honestly, I blocked most of those out, so I don't really even remember you bringing it up before.
I do appreciate how deeply you take these moments.
Oh, yeah.
So Gordy's a chimpanzee. He is the star of a fake sitcom from the late 90s called Gordy's Home, where he lives with his family, mom, kids, and it's on TV. In the second season, they are filming an episode of Gordy's Home about Gordy's birthday, and they release some balloons that pop. And Gordy the chimpanzee loses his ever-loving mind and goes on a killing spree in the studio.
Yep.
And kills a couple of the cast members, severely injures and disfigures one of the child actors, and then is ultimately taken out by animal handlers far too late for some. Okay. That's a horrible story, right? But here's why Gordy makes the list, or at least the honorable. Two things. Number one, the scene where they show him losing it during the taping of the show.
Right.
is phenomenal. It is terrifying, and you see almost nothing that happens.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the audio. It's all about what you hear, and that's terrifying. At the end of that scene, after he's kind of done his mayhem, he sits down and he throws off the party hat, and then he looks under the table and he sees the other child actor from the show, who is the young version of Stephen Ewan, who plays Jupe in Nope. And he approaches the table where Jupe is hiding, and you just see Gordy coming at you with intent in his eyes, blood everywhere. It is so scary.
Yeah.
And you think, okay, well, but you know that's not the end for the kid, because the kid is telling the story 30 years later, whatever.
Right.
And the chimp, Gordy, sticks his hand out for a fist bump. Incredible scene. This just in, Jordan Peele is brilliant. But it leads me to the second reason why Gordy is on this list.
Okay.
Gordy is a picture of the entire film Nope. Because Gordy is a picture of what happens when we try to tame wild things, which is what Stephen Ewan then tries to do again as an adult, as he thinks he's tamed Jean Jacket, the alien, because Gordy didn't kill him. Right? When Gordy was done doing everything he was going to do, Gordy comes and gives him a fist bump because they were buddies. And so Stephen Ewan thinks he has some kind of magic that he can deal with animals. And he finds out, spoiler alert, he's very wrong.
Very wrong.
I've said before, said a lot of times, I love that movie, but this piece of it is really, really cool. The way that this thing that kind of just tracks alongside the movie as the movie really starts ramping towards the end, and you get this scene with Gordy in it, you start to put some pieces together and go, oh, that's what we're talking about. Again, Jordan Peele's a genius. Who knew? We all knew because we've seen the movie. So my number 2 and my only other honorable mention, Gordy from Nope.
You know, I am noticing that you're not telling me over and over again how you're only going to have 5 favorites.
Well, we're not there yet.
Exactly. So I'm just saying. All right. Well, those were some pretty honorable mentions, I have to say.
Thank you for your
support. But for me, I really have a couple of hairy choices to make.
It's going to be like this the whole show, isn't it?
It's going to go through the whole show. Actually, they were written out.
Okay.
So my first honorable mention is Ella, the capuchin monkey in Stephen King's Monkey Shines.
Nice.
Yes. I remember watching this as a younger person. And so the story, if you haven't seen it, the story is about a guy named Alan Mann, who was a law student and an athlete, and he gets paralyzed like from the neck down. And so he gets home, they put him in one of those chairs, they do it, and they bring Ella to be like his hands. Okay. And then, like scientists always do, they came up with an injection that they said was going to make her smarter to help him. But not only does it make it smarter, it makes her homicidal. And if you've ever seen it, there's times when she freaks out. She actually gets, I guess, jealous of Alan's girlfriend and tries to take her out too. So it's a real, wild ride. And one of the reasons I like it is because when you look at the book for Monkey Shines, it's always that clapping monkey on the front, which we know can have pretty scary da-da-da-da-das. But this one is like the cute one, like from Friends.
Right.
And small and tiny, and then when it goes off, it goes off.
We're finding some really, really happy monkey stories to tell.
Happy monkeys. Okay, well, then you'll like my other honorable mention. Because it's a fun honorable mention, and it's one that I know that you're going to like. It's the Great Grape Ape.
Sir.
From the Great Grape Ape Show.
Yes, sir.
And who is he? He was a 40-foot tall purple gorilla who had a childlike spirit. He's voiced by Bob Holt, one of the Hanna-Barbera shows. He basically communicates just by repeating his name. It'll be like, Grape, pointing to a pizza, and they'll know he wants the pizza. His companion was Beagley, who was voiced by Martin Ingalls. Together, they would go every episode and have these wild adventures. And he had a little bow tie, and he had a hat. Well, it wasn't little because he's 40 foot tall, but just the whole Grape. I can remember doing that in school and annoying people, but I was like, hey, you just don't know how cool I am. So those are my 2 honorable mentions. What do you think?
Oh man, listen, Grape Ape is what actually started this conversation when you and I were talking about Saturday morning cartoons, and I brought up Grape Ape, and then we got into all things Simian, and now here we are. So absolutely, but I have to take you to task for one thing.
Okay.
Grape Ape wasn't a 40-foot gorilla.
He's a 40-foot,
gorilla, because that's what people said when they saw him, because he scared them.
Right.
So you got to throw in all the extra L's.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're right.
Love him. A giant purple gorilla. What's not to love?
What's not to love? Especially a nice one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on murder rampages like
our others.
so far.
So I do have one more just to kind of squeak it in. And it's every ape from every Planet of the Apes movie ever, including the cartoons. So I've got a list of them here. I'm going to start off with Dr. Zaius. Okay. And Dr. Zaius was portrayed. I'm just messing with you.
I'll be back in a few minutes. Just do whatever you got to do.
No. All right. Well, let's get on and hear your number 5.
All right. Number 5. I want you to go back with me, Jamie, to 1978. Smokey and the Bandit has just dominated the movies the year before. America is obsessed with truck driving culture and CB radios and Eastbound and Down and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Into this cultural moment steps Clint Eastwood, who up to this point had only been Dirty Harry in a bunch of Westerns, in a comedy where he plays a truck driver named Philo Beddoe,
right? Who's also
a bare knuckle fighter, and who had a best friend named Clyde.
Right.
And Clyde is an orangutan, and Clyde is my number 5 because he is awesome.
He is, and he's got a massive right hook.
Massive right hook. He wore a watch.
Yeah, true.
So Clyde drank beer. Clyde got in fights. Right. Clyde kissed people that he loved and some people he didn't know. Clyde loved messing with people in different places, especially if they were kind of being punks about things. And Clyde had Clyde could destroy cars.
Right.
So this was in Every Which Way But Loose. But in Any Which Way You Can, which was the sequel, he tears, scrap the caddy and he just tears the car apart, which is such a fun. I watched it again today. Such a fun scene. But Clyde also, on demand, if Clint Eastwood said, right turn, Clyde would stick his arm out the window of the truck and punch whoever happened to be there. And 8-year-old me, and honestly, 54-year-old me, 8-year-old Clyde was the coolest thing ever. And I want to be very careful to make sure I say, these are not good movies.
No.
Jamie, don't remember it with fondness just because.
I do. I love those movies. And you forget to say that Clyde was also a lover.
Oh, yeah, he was. Well, the kissing. So listen, Clyde was a ladies' man. But they're comedies. It's Clint Eastwood in a comedy, so that goes about like you think it would. But they were huge hits. In fact, up until his more recent stuff, it was like the biggest openings that Clint Eastwood had. More than the Dirty Harry movies, more than the Westerns. Like, these movies were massive because Smokey and the Bandit walked so Every Which Way But Loose could run, I guess. They made 2 of them. They're not great, but Clyde, I really think so. I'm going to talk about orangutans multiple times. Just prepare yourself for this.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it started with watching Clyde right turn out the window of the truck in 1978.
So you don't think it was Chief Louie, Chief whatever from the
You, sir. King
yeah,
Louie.
that was around the same time too, you know?
Well, King Louie was 10 years earlier.
10 years earlier. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That probably contributed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times 8-year-old me watched Clyde.
Oh yeah, they're great movies. I enjoy them. I really do think they're fun. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you hate that. Do you remember the name of the biker gang? They're also a character in the Marvel Universe.
Black Widows.
Black Widows.
A vast storehouse of
totally useless information.
That is me.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a good one. I like that.
What about you, Jim?
So it's now that you're finished, it's time to swing in to my number 5, which was going to be Clyde the orangutan.
No way.
Yes, it was. But ultimately, I had to instead choose Nikko. You know who that is?
I'm remembering the name, but I'm not remembering details. So
he was the head flying monkey in The Wizard of Oz.
Outstanding.
You know, just if you ever look at them, and like the new ones are cool and CGIs and all that stuff, but back then, I mean, they were so freaking scary, you know. And Nikko was like, I mean, they have like uniforms and everything, and then they can fly. Yeah, but the hat, yeah. So that always stuck in my mind as well. And I'll tell you, right up until now, it actually says in my notes that I've got both of these listed as number 5, but I had to choose, and so I chose, and it went with Nikko.
That's outstanding.
You like that?
I do. I still remember as a kid being scared of the flying monkeys. Like when they showed up, and the witch didn't scare me so much. Flying monkeys were a bit much.
I agree. And the trees.
Right.
I don't know why the trees just kind of freaked me out a little bit, you know, especially with that dead body hanging in the back.
Well, you know, but you know, it's interesting. So I've not seen Wicked. I'm sure at some point I will do that. Maybe not, but I've heard they've made the monkeys equally terrifying, but I think the difference is they're CGI.
Yeah.
And even though, like, I know that there weren't real flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz, there's something about that man in suit effect that made them, for the time in particular, really, really real feeling.
Right.
I think that, you know, watching the actual actors interact with the actual characters in those costumes just heightened it that much more.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the best way to do that kind of stuff is motion capture. If you're going to do CGI, you know, because it is very difficult to keep those eye levels and looking at stuff, you know, when you don't know what's there.
Right.
But if you didn't have that, like they didn't have that when they did The Wizard of Oz, putting the guy in a monkey suit, and putting him in a flying monkey, that was the way to do it.
Flying monkey.
All right. Well, I love it. So it's almost a match, but it's not. So
pretty close. Could have been.
All right, Jay Hall, what is your number 4?
Number 4 is one of those on the list of every monkey ever from Planet of the Apes that you were going to get into, and it is Caesar from the new world of Planet of the Apes.
From the latest movie or?
From the latest set of movies. So
okay.
Rise and War, and I can't keep track of all.
And it's Caesar?
Caesar. Yeah.
Okay. That's the one that first gets the juice.
Right. So Caesar is ends up being the leader of all the monkeys because his mom was experimented on. They were testing out Alzheimer's medications, and mom received it when she was pregnant with Caesar, which meant that all of the mental enhancing effects were heightened for him.
Right.
So he's born already pretty smart. Mom is killed because things happen in the lab, and Caesar is smuggled out by one of the lab techs to go live with this family. And so he grows up among humans, and then things go bad, and he
As
is
they
taken.
tend to. Well, it's damn Malfoys, you know?
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. So he gets taken back into a facility, wildly mistreated, and in one of the coolest monkey related scenes ever, he's getting abused and beat on, and he knocks Draco to the ground. And for the first time, when he yells, no,
Right.
monkey speaks, the chimp speaks, you're like, it is on now. Here we go.
Like Donkey Kong.
I wasn't going to say it because I knew you would. I knew I could count on you, so I didn't have to. But like from that moment, and so then, Caesar uses this virus that they had tested on his mom to uplift all the other apes, and everybody escapes, and away we go with intelligent apes interacting with humans. And a couple of things I love about Caesar and the way he's portrayed, and Andy Serkis does Caesar, and the fact
In motion capture.
yes, and the fact that he didn't receive an Academy Award for any of these movies is kind of a crime because it's unbelievable. But so you get all the facial expressions, although it's interesting, you're talking about CGI and how it doesn't work. I went back this morning and was watching the very first moments of the first movie with Caesar in it, and it's CGI because he's a baby. So it's, and it doesn't work. Like it pulls you out because he just doesn't. I mean, it's incredible CGI, but it is obviously still CGI. Yeah. And the transition in that scene where he very quickly grows up and then becomes the teenage, whatever, chimp that is then Andy Serkis, such a difference.
Yeah, but it's still a much better CGI baby than Twilight.
Can I tell you something that I'm kind of proud of?
Sure.
I've never seen Twilight.
I never have either, but there's a riff on it.
Oh,
and I've seen that. So yeah.
So, but I love the humanity that they give him while still making him very much an ape. And I think this is the reason that I gravitate towards those movies even more than the ones from the 60s and 70s. The apes in the 60s and 70s wanted to be human, right? They're dressed like people. They're, trying to build society like that. The ones in the more recent version are still very much apes.
Okay.
They move that way. They fight that way. That they start riding horses and they get weapons and they do all these other things, but they're still, and this is the way that they're portrayed. There's still this very ape-like thing about them that I think makes them even more frightening.
Yeah.
Realize the power behind these things. And so when you see Caesar and Koba, that kind of big showdown between those two apes, it's terrifying because you realize how much power is in the midst of that, and just also really cool at the way they do it. So yeah, all of the effects in those movies, all the different kinds of apes and things are just really, really cool. But because of the character that they create around Caesar, he's my choice coming out of those.
He's also my favorite salad too.
How do you feel about him as an emperor?
No. I'll tell you the truth. I only saw the first one.
Only saw the first Planet of the Apes?
Of the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoyed it, but I just have never gotten around. I've got nothing against them. I actually own them. I picked them up, at, I don't know, a yard sale or something. But I just never really got into it.
I've not seen the most recent one because my life just doesn't lend itself to watching a lot of movies right now. But the others I have, and they're all they're great. I mean, they're not cinematic masterpieces, but
like Frankenhooker.
Man, how did you have that one ready to go?
Actually, it's because it's right there. I've got my picture with Patty Mullen.
Oh, okay.
So he's always my go-to. Or Felisa Rose. So. Actually, I heard the latest one is like, I don't know, 50 or 100 years after the events of the last film. So Caesar's gone. It's like a whole nother group of people.
Well, spoiler alerts. In one of the movies because, time is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. So at some point I'll probably see that, but maybe not because.
Same. Okay.
All right. Jamie, what's your number 4?
Well, Coming in at number 4 is, well, actually, it's absolutely bananas. I am talking about Bear, the chimpanzee who rode alongside Billy Joe McKay,
Okay.
played by Greg Evigan. And I am talking about BJ and the Bear. BJ McKay and his best friend Bear.
Before you
So
say another word, I have to tell you this.
yeah,
My wife and I were having a conversation about this conversation.
okay.
And she said, surely you're going to bring Bear up. And she did exactly what you just did. She started singing the theme song to BJ and the Bear. So, Kenda, this one's for you. Jamie, go
This was
ahead.
for you, baby. I'll sing the whole song if you want me to. Okay. So, a couple of fun facts as presented to you by Red Dr. Rain. No, actually, those are on the bottom.
Sorry, that's
This is on the bottom. You talking earlier about Smoking the Bandit and all that stuff. This is another one of those movies. I mean, one of those series. He drove a distinctive red and white Kenworth K100 cab over truck. Bear was actually named after Bear Bryant, the football coach of Alabama University. And they were always met and sometimes foiled by Sheriff Elroy P. Lobo, who's played by Claude Akins, who had been in a show called Moving On. And then after this one ended, he got his own show called The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo.
I remember this.
So yeah. So loved, because it was so ridiculous. I mean, it was just and so looking back, it's so formulaic. You know, he goes into the town. There's trouble. There's a hot waitress, or there's a hot, a girl mechanic, who helps him, and yeah, but he chooses that chimpanzee to drive off to the sunset with.
Every time.
So I always had some love there for Bear. I thought he was a lot of fun.
I never saw this show.
Really?
So that's why, I mean, Ken was like, well, you have to talk about it. It's like, I am sure I saw an episode at some point, because I do know that one of my brothers was into it, because he actually had the truck toy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't for me.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Why? I don't know why. Maybe because it wasn't orangutan, but it's because that was my phase. But
so, me and your wife kind of got a lot of things in common now.
Dude, she's so far out of both of our leagues that yeah.
All right,
You would sing
Mr. Sir. What is your number 3?
Well,
Professor.
Funny you should ask, Jamie. My number 3, we've already mentioned, is King Louie from 1967's The Jungle Book.
That's awesome.
Because again, he's an orangutan.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to say that. So, Jungle Book is my favorite classic Disney movie.
Okay.
Thinking about it, I could probably sit here and quote it. I won't. I could, just to be clear. But I'd forgotten how little King Louie is actually in it.
Uh-huh.
In my mind, and I think this is just part of my monkey obsessed, orangutan obsessed person. It feels like he's a bigger character than he is, but really, he's just in it for a handful of scenes where he's the monkey king. So they live in this temple in India, and he just sits around and eats bananas all day while all the monkeys serve him. The monkeys go kidnap Mowgli and bring Mowgli to King Louie because King Louie wants to learn how to be a man. He wants to learn how to be a person.
Okay.
I want to be like you, right? And I didn't sing it. Notice that. But I know you almost got me. So they kidnap Mowgli. He wants to become a man, and then Baloo and Raj come in and save Mowgli, and everything falls apart around King Louie, and then that's it. That's
done.
King Louie for the show. But I love this character. I love this persona, whatever. When I went to Disney World with my kids years ago, there were only 2 characters I wanted pictures with, and King Louie was one of them, and I got it. So thank you very much.
Was the other one Princess Amidala?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be for her. The other one was Wreck-It Ralph, just so you can.
Oh, okay.
because you and I have a lot in common, actually.
Yeah.
Not bad guys. I love that movie so much. Anyway, so two or three things about King Louie, and I won't go on and on and on. Number one, he's orangutan. We've already been over this. I love them. I think they're amazing. My poor kids, when we used to go to the zoo, would be like, "Dad's just going to be over there for a while. We'll go wander around the rest of the zoo and come back, and Dad will still be staring at the
And to
orangutan."
see your homies,
My boys, my
your
people.
boys,
Second
fling a
thing,
little poop at them, let them fling it at you.
no, they don't do that. That's those other monkeys. The less sanitary ones that do things like that. Orangutans are sophisticated, right? They're
Right.
classic.
Definitely.
Long
What was I
hair.
thinking?
I have no idea most of the time. So the second thing about Louis that I love is the way that he's animated.
Mhm.
So, first of all, he's just completely relaxed and groovy because at its heart, Jungle Book is kind of heavily influenced by jazz, swing, kind of that culture going into the late 60s of what music was doing. So lots of just well, a lot of probably weed fueled music, but very relaxed, very groovy, lots of jazz kind of stuff. So he's just kind of laying around. When he moves kind of like an orangutan, but he also just kind of everything's all over the place.
Right.
But the thing that I really love about King Louie, Jamie,
Louie, Louie.
King Louie is a jazz orangutan. And I don't know if we've ever talked about this. I love jazz. I am so into jazz music, and I love the look on your face right now. So when Louis was first conceived, here's your fun facts, right? So scroll on the bottom.
Sponsored by Red Dog Terrain.
Much. When Louis was first conceived, they wanted Louis Armstrong to voice him.
Oh, that would have made perfect sense.
That it was 1967. And the higher ups at Disney said, we cannot ask a black man to be an ape in a movie. Which, correct, right? In the time, not a thing you could do. So they found another jazz musician named Louie Prima.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
We're going to the jazz section of the evening. So Louie Prima was known as the King of Swing. He was a vocalist. He was a band leader. He was a trumpeter. Pretty well-known guy. He ends up, creating the voice for the character, but he also sings. And one of the things I love about King Louie is more than half of his dialogue is either sung or scatted. Because again, he's a jazz orangutan. And so Louis Prima does the voice. Some of the monkeys, their voices are his band members because they kind of all together. And then Louis Prima becomes a pretty significant player in Disney music for the next decade.
Really?
He did on Jungle Book. So all of these things coming together. But my number 3 is King Louie, the jazz orangutan. Thank you. Well done. Yes. Yes.
Did you know that before he did, fun fact, before he did Dragnet, that oh God, his name escapes me now. The main guy. My brother's gonna kill me for not remembering. Jack Webb.
Yes.
Before Jack Webb was on that show, he actually did a radio program, and in it he was the leader of a jazz band. And there was always stuff that happened and all that stuff. So
I knew he was a radio guy, but I had no idea that he did that.
Yeah. So anyway, well, that's a great one. I like that.
Love it.
Yeah. Okay. So next up,
I don't want to add your next one because I know it's going to mess up your intro. So I'm just going to.
No, it won't. It won't. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Maybe what's your number 3?
Well, thank you for asking. Next up at number 3 is actually a twofer.
Okay.
From a series of absolutely fantastic movies.
I'm so sad right now.
The first is from the original Planet of the Apes movie. Now, I say that because she was in all 3 of the first 3 movies. Okay. Battle, Beneath, and Escape. But I am specifically choosing Kim Hunter's portrayal of Zira, the life partner of Cornelius, in Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Now, why am I picking this? And I'm going to tell you it's because of one scene. when all three of them have taken the spaceship and flown back in time, and they've landed, and the government takes them and they put them into holding cells and all that stuff, monkey cages, basically. Um, they bring all of these tests for them to do, and she's of course knocking every one of them out and all of that stuff, and they're like, "Ooh, oh, they're so smart," and then they drop a banana down, and she's looking at it. And so she looks around and she takes some of the blocks and makes the blocks into some steps. And she walks all the way up, and they're going, and then she turns around and sits down. And they're like, wait a minute. She's not going to go for the banana? And for the first time in the movie, as far as the humans are concerned, she goes, because I don't like bananas. And that's when everything just like falls apart, That one scene is just so awesome. And of course, I'm going to spoil this one because if you haven't seen this movie from the 70s, it's, I don't know what you're doing. But you got to see so much more of Zira and her love and affection for her life partner, Cornelius. And I just really loved seeing them together, then seeing them out kind of in public. And then she's pregnant, and then at the end, that they meet up with Khan, though he's not wrathful yet, and I just love her performance in this one. So now, I can't say a woman without saying a man, okay, or male or a female. So the male favorite from Planet of the Apes is actually Security Chief Urko, the violent gorilla, in the TV series.
Oh.
Because Urko was played by friggin' Spock's dad, Mark Leonard.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Okay. And I actually got to meet Mark Leonard, and I had some old cards. And he signed one for me, and he was like, yeah, I don't see many of these anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. Now, what you may be thinking of is General Ursus, played by James Gregory. He was a gorilla and the leader of the apes.
Yep.
He's the ones that convinced the apes to go into attack the Forbidden Zone in beneath Planet of the Apes because he lied to him because he wanted a war. But yeah, so that's going to be my two. Zira and Security Chief Urko.
I love as those movies progressed, you got to see more and more of the apes as characters, because the first movie really is like, oh my gosh, these are apes. And that's just kind of, I mean, there's a plot and there's things going on, but you don't get so much of what interaction looks like and what life looks like, because it's so focused on, well, Charlton Heston, but also just the insanity of the way this thing is set up. But as they progress, they had to start doing things with these characters because they, kept coming. And so you do get to see more of their humanity, ape-anity.
Their compassion for each other.
You get to see more. I mean, they're emotional creatures, and they're, they operate like people would operate, and you get more of that as we go. So I do want it to be noted that one of the two of us is now cheated. And
do what you want. It's my damn show.
I'm still
have me on your show again, and I'll follow your roles.
You won't.
Not your rules, but your roles.
I'm spotless, is all I'm saying so far.
All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we stop and take a little break because Jay always has something to talk about.
Do I?
Yes. So first, your new book.
New book.
How's that going?
It's going.
Did you bring one? Hold it up.
Oh, I've got one here somewhere. Okay.
Well, you got all of those books in the bookshelf behind you.
Yeah, let me reach back on the shelf behind. There we go.
That was awesome.
There it is. Thank you very much. We're all about practical effects here. Yeah. So, College Unpacked is my new book. It's been out a couple months now. It is the subtitles: A Practical Guide to Choosing, Preparing for, and Excelling in College. It is basically my attempt as somebody who has worked in higher education for the last 20 years and has sent 4 kids to college. It's my attempt to package everything a student might and their family might need to know to tackle the college journey with confidence. It doesn't answer every question because there's so much variation between colleges, but I really work to give students and their families at least the right questions to ask and who to ask them to when they get to campus or as they're trying to decide where to go to college. And I'm incredibly proud of it. Everyone who has read it, and I wish that number were larger than it is, but here we are,
Should be.
has talked about how useful it is. I've had so many people say, I wish I'd had this when I went to college. I've had people buy 10 of them for all the friends of their children who are graduating and getting ready to go to college.
It is a great graduation gift.
Absolutely. And it's led to some really cool opportunities that I have to kind of be careful about because they haven't really fully emerged yet. But there's some partnership things coming that maybe down the pipe we'll be able to talk about. And those will be really cool. But I'm excited about the opportunity. You know, I'm an educator. That's what my heart is. And I want students to be successful. And so much of the time I've spent in higher education, I've watched students struggle, not because they're not smart, not because they're not prepared academically, but because they just don't understand this wildly convoluted system we've created in higher education. And so College Unpacked really is my attempt to unravel it as best I can for everybody from the, family that sent 4 kids to college like mine to first gen students where mom and dad didn't go and they don't have a clue in the world how to help navigate.
Right.
So you can check it out, jhallwriter.com, WRITER, and you can find the book there. And you can also, if you would like to buy multiple copies for people in your life, I do bulk discounts, and just reach out to me and we can talk about how to set that up. But yeah,
awesome.
Thanks for talking about it a little bit. I'm proud of it.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to read it yet because I haven't got my copy yet. But but it is great. Now, I do have a question. I know you said there's some secrety stuff going on. Are you going to have another like downloadable extra worksheet like you did for your other book?
So there is right now a downloadable dorm packing guide that is available. You can go to jhallwriter.com/dorm list and get that. There are some other things like that in the works. I'm putting together a list of questions to ask on a college visit. Putting together a list of things to do on your first day of college, that kind of stuff. That all ties into it. So all of that will eventually be on the website.
Cool.
I'm telling you, writing a book is so much easier than all the things you have to do after you write a book. All the marketing, showing up and I've been on half a dozen podcasts over the last couple of weeks talking about it, and it's all great. I love every bit of it. I never want to sound like I'm complaining, but it's just hard to get it all done when you're an independent operation as I am.
I know what you mean, because like for me, I have to spend like an hour and a half every night just autographing, 8x10s for people. And it's just like, guys, I need to do something else.
Well, it's just odd that you're autographing those pictures of other people and selling them on eBay. At some point, they're going to catch up with you. Sorry.
All right. Anything else going on aside from your lovely daughter's new home, which I saw?
Well, that was a very creepy thing you just said.
From sitting down the street through my binoculars.
Driving by, and she came to the city for no other reason. Yeah, she is, still trying to find an agent and do all the things with her writing. And we actually are recording tomorrow night. So the June edition of Your Next Great Read for my podcast. So we'll be getting together and talking about books and all the things that we do there.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't have anything to talk about. So if you're ready, I'm actually ready for it. Well, we got to put your drink down. You ready? Ready? Penultimate. Whoa. Choice. So this is going to be his second favorite simian in cinema.
Man, I'm still just, I love that, Jamie.
It just came to me.
So number 2, numero dos for our Spanish speaking friends, is the librarian from Discworld.
Oh, okay.
All right. Now,
I'm familiar with what Discworld is. Terry Pratchett.
yes, Terry Pratchett.
Yeah. Okay.
This is where I almost had to cheat because you asked me when we first talked about this, did I want to extend it into print? And at that point, I said no.
Right.
And then I remembered the librarian, but I found that Sky One, British television,
Uh-huh.
couple of adaptations of some of these novels in which the librarian appears.
Well, there you go then.
Be known, I've still not cheated. All right, let's talk about the librarian. It's not going to surprise you. The librarian is an orangutan.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, who knew? Started as a guy, a wizard. He was the librarian of Unseen University, which is the wizard university before Hogwarts, and that's a part of Discworld. He was a librarian through a series of events that I will not begin to try to explain because it's bonkers. He gets turned into an orangutan. And
Hate when that happens.
well, and it does occasionally. That's why I have a library here, just in case someday that could happen to me. He decides that he would rather stay an orangutan than be turned back into a human because he recognized, and I'm going to read some of this, so pardon me while I look away here without my glasses. We'll see how this goes.
Do you want me to hold it?
It might be really good, actually. It'd be bad if I put it right up in front of the camera, which is where I need it. He decides he wants to stay there because he discovers that there are certain advantages to being an orangutan when you're a librarian, climbing the bookshelves so you can get the high books, using his hands and his feet for sorting books. That's a big deal.
No pants.
No pants. I think he actually does wear pants.
He's not Donald ducking it.
He's not Donald Ducking it, Winnie the Poohing it. He, there are grimoires in the library, and the grimoires like to hurt and occasionally eat people. But as an orangutan, he's not a person, so they don't bother him. So he likes that a lot. And he doesn't need a ladder. He can get to the high up shelves, and he likes. Where is it? Because this is great. He also is a big fan of the fact that he can screw a man's head off with his feet.
Bonus all around. I still think the no pants is probably the best thing.
I saw it. So he becomes an orangutan and he retains his position because, quote, he's the only one who knows where all the books are. And Pratchett, being Pratchett, he talks, the librarian just kind of shows up every now and then. And as he's being described or talked about, at one point, Pratchett says, the wizards have become so used to him as their librarian that if someone came to them and said there's an orangutan in the library, they would go to the librarian and ask him if he'd seen it. Good stuff, right? He cannot communicate except by saying ook or eek. That's all he's got.
Not op or.
Nope, none of that. Just ook or eek. And everybody understands everything he says somehow because,
Okay.
They're wizards and these things happen. But not only is he the librarian, and I want to be sure we get the full range of this guy's abilities. He is the librarian.
Okay.
He is also a member of the City Watch.
Okay.
He helps save the city from a dragon at one point, from dragon attacks.
As most librarians do.
Orangutan librarians. He is also the chief organist for Unseen University. Thank you, Beavis. And he was in a rock band for a little while playing keys until the band got too popular and he decided he didn't want to be a part of it anymore and left and to do his own thing and continue to be the chief organist and just do what he does there. So this is a fantastic character. It's brilliant. It's funny. It's everything that Pratchett does in this great red hairy package. Because orangutans are awesome and librarian orangutans are even better.
I dig it. So you got to see a picture of it from the Sky One?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never seen the adaptation. I've got to go find it.
Yeah.
Sure, that's going to cost me $1 million, but worth it, right?
Yeah, so worth it. Worth it. All right. Well, I guess that means that we are now at, you ready? My penultimate, or as you might say, my monkey pen ultimate selection. Monkey pen?
I would not.
Penultimate. Anyway, it's a mountain gorilla. and his name is Professor Bobo. And he was on the Mystery Science Theater 3000 for seasons 8 through 11, also known as Mad Goth. And he was expertly played by Kevin Murphy. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a Mike. Nothing wrong with Joel, but I'm a Mike. And one of the reasons I am is because of the characters that they had during, the parts in the movie where they come back and get out. Uh, Bobo is just hilarious. I'm like, sometimes he's sitting there and he's like picking stuff out of, and then I think he ends up being the smartest one, and he flings his poop. I know this. He talks about it. But it's always just a lot of fun. And when I thought of this list, aside from the two that I've already mentioned, I know Bobo was going to be on the list somewhere. And I'm surprising myself actually that it got this high. Really? Because I mean, some of the other stuff, but I guess maybe part of it is because there are so many episodes that I get to see, the whole thing from them finding him in the lab, then to escaping, and he picks up Brain Guy, and then they go somewhere else, and it's always, chasing the satellite of love. There's just a lot of interaction with him. So that's going to be my Monkey Pen ultimate selection, Professor Bobo from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I love it. He was on the list, didn't make the cut, but I wholeheartedly endorse that selection.
I'm honored. I get to keep it then.
Well, I mean, it's your show. You do what you're going to do, but I'm a big fan. And you're right. I love Mystery Science Theater. I mean, right? Who doesn't? Well, I know people that don't, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. But there is so much to all of those kind of extra people that are around doing the things and the weird extra adventures and shenanigans that go on.
Because it does, and it gives them so much interaction that it's so much fun. So.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, finally, we are at the point of the show where you will tell us your absolute favorite, and then I'll tell you mine that's better.
So let me ask you a question. If number 2 is penultimate, why don't we just call this one the ultimate?
We can if you'd like to.
I'm just asking.
I know you're just asking. You're trying to put me on the spot, and I don't care.
I figured that would be the case.
I'll have to start doing that. Well, if you want to sponsor the ultimate selection, I could start doing that.
Well,
now for our ultimate favorite, as sponsored by Okie Bookcast,
I will send you a whole $1. It's my net receipts. But it's worth it, right? You know what my number 1 is.
Oh, it's got to be.
Number 1 is.
Can I say it? Mighty Joe Young.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! My number 1 is King Kong, but more specifically, the 1976 King Kong, or as I like to call him, my King Kong.
That's your king.
Mine. That is mine. I know it's a remake, and you know how I feel about remakes. We've had this conversation many times. This one jumped the technology so far. The original was done in 1933, which animation and
but I don't, not to interrupt you, but no, you go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, I'm just going to say the technology for the time was off the charts. I mean, they did all kinds of wild stuff to make this feel as real as it did, and audiences went berserk in 1933 to see it. But 76, man, and it's mostly practical effects, and it's just amazing. What were we going to say? And then I'm going to keep going.
So I was going to say that I was going to talk about the 33. The technology that they used, but I don't want to derail you.
Okay.
So you go ahead and finish. One thing I do want to say, it's got to be the movie poster. I had that poster in my room 6, 7, 8 years.
Dude, that was my second grade lunchbox. And the front of the lunchbox was the movie poster.
Yeah, that is
all
awesome.
Up there with the planes, and I can still see it right now. I,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I am a fan, but I was a fan, huge fan.
Yeah.
So King Kong is originally conceived in the late 20s, early 30s by this guy. I got to look up his name real quick. Marion C. Cooper, who was very interested in primates and was working for RKO Studios.
Didn't he
And
primarily work on primates?
stop it. Just stop it. They wanted to do a gorilla terror movie, and he took that idea and said, okay, but what if we made the gorilla giant?
Yeah.
And he said in New York, and he was looking at like the tallest building in New York at the time and imagined the scene at the end of Kong standing on top of this building, swinging at airplanes and everything going on around him. And so thus was born what we know as King Kong. He wanted to make it giant because he wanted to fight dinosaurs.
Yeah, of course.
And,
Or in this case, lizards with stuff glued on their back.
but yes to that. Again, 1933, but good on him. But he wanted to make it giant. One of the things that's hilarious, and I didn't notice this at the time, but Kong is not a consistent size in either the 1933 movie or the 1976 movie.
Okay.
I wrote this down because I just think this is really fascinating. In the original 1933, it scales between 19 and 60 feet.
Wow.
Right. Right. But but he said, if we make the movie good enough, no one's going to pay any attention. And you know what?
They don't.
Right.
Yeah.
In the 76 version, it scales from 42 to 55 feet. So not quite as
bad. Yeah.
The new versions of Kong, 340 feet tall.
Yeah.
Because he's got to hang out with Godzilla.
Right.
And Godzilla and all the other kaiju that you and I have talked about many times are much larger than 60 feet tall. And so in order for him to be able to knock down skyscrapers, he has to be a skyscraper himself.
Right.
Couple of things.
Or Wreck-It Ralph.
Good circle.
Call back.
Couple of things. One of the things that I love about the 76 version, one, I mean, I was 7 years old when I'm seeing it on TV for the first time. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. But it's practical effects. And I keep referring back to this because some of this stuff's just nuts to me. So, it's mostly guy in suit. There's some stop motion stuff as well. But they made, in order to be able to show him holding Jessica Lange, they made two gigantic King Kong arms and hands.
Yes.
The hands were 6 feet across.
Jesus.
And the arms weighed 1,650 pounds each.
Wow.
Big monkey. That's
big monkey. Can you imagine how big his poop was?
Well, and if he flung it, I mean, I will say, well, I could say so many things. They were very intentional in the first couple of movies about making Kong more human.
Mm-hmm.
He stands upright for the most part. The way that he moves, the way that he kind of interacts and facial expressions and all that. They try to make it very human as opposed to these later films where they have made Kong, again, more like an actual gorilla. Even though technically, I guess he's not a gorilla. He's a Kong, whatever that is. Sorry, I'm struggling. But I do have to talk about my favorite part of 1976 King Kong. And I've talked about it. So for those of you who have listened to every show, you're going to remember this. But imagine 7-year-old me sitting in the living room watching TV. Kong has brought Jessica Lange to his cave on Skull Island where they're just going to hang out, I guess. And a giant snake.
To show him his wood carvings.
Exactly it. You see my collection of Frankenhooker paraphernalia. A snake comes in. And the snake goes for Jessica Lange. And stop it. And Kong starts to fight the snake. And he's fighting, and they're doing all these things.
Grabs it with both hands, right?
Yes.
Just
She starts to escape, and he realizes that if he doesn't stop the fight, she's going to get away. So Kong grabs the jaws of the snake and starts pulling it apart. And 7-year-old me went, "Yup, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Yep.
And here I am again, 47 years later, saying, "Still on the list."
Still on the list. It's my fave.
That's right. So my number one, my favorite cinematic simian, King Kong, 1976.
That is a great pick. I am actually very surprised that you didn't choose one of the ones that was almost my number one, and that would be Mechani-Kong. Because as silly as that movie was,
Yeah.
dude, that thing was incredible.
Yeah.
I always loved that one, but that's not my favorite.
The whole, like, when the Japanese company got hold of Kong, and so there was Kong versus Godzilla, and then they were fighting together, and just all of the nonsense that went on when he entered that universe the first time in the 60s is awesome.
Yes.
And again, you know me and kaiju, I'm in, and monkey kaiju, come on. I mean, what else is there to talk about? I've not seen the new one, so I don't know. It's not going to have the same affection because it's just not going to be as silly.
Yeah.
There's something about the silliness of those movies that make them even more endearing.
Right. Okay. Well, I think then at this point, I'm going to give you my ultimate favorite.
Thank you.
Okay. And let me tell you, buddy, it is simply the best.
Gosh. Okay. I don't hate that one. I don't hate that one. The others, kind of hate it.
Yeah.
I don't.
So my choice is the king himself, the originator, the OK instead of OG, and that is Kong from the 1933 picture. Yes. Now, one of the fun facts I have this about my life is that this was the last movie I saw before the 2 weeks that we were shut down for COVID.
Oh, wow.
They were playing them. It was, on Sundays you could go and Mankiewicz would introduce them and whatnot. And so I sat incredibly close to the screen and I've seen that movie a dozen times, half a dozen times, whatever. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, the fur is moving as he walks, and all these little clever things. And then you go back and find out that it wasn't the wind blowing or a fan in the shop, that they were actually moving the fur a little bit every time they moved it and took another picture of it. Yeah. And just blew my mind. One of the other things that I take away, and I'm going to say this in all seriousness because I am a dude, okay, but the parts with Fay Ray, where he takes her and puts her under the waterfall and then takes her out and blows on her. That was racy. I mean,
1933, that was scandalous.
It was, because I'm sitting here going, is that boob? What? Yeah. And it was just like her gown thing was, what do you call it, diaphanous, and it was kind of like you thought you could see through it, but you really were. But I was just like, oh my God. And then at the end, when, spoiler alert, Kong dies, and they go and bring her in, or she comes to, it's like, she loved him. I mean, she like really loved him. Not in a, but, and I just remember thinking when that movie rolled, I was like, wow, I feel like I'd just seen it for the first time. And just one of the other reasons I pick it was because it is the original Kong. It is the one that set the path for many more movies. Oh, I mean, kaiju may have never come if we didn't have Kong, or Son of Kong, or Gorgo, or Mighty Joe Young, or any of those. So I've got to give mad props to it, because just the way that they created this creature, that it grew in size, and nobody cares about that back then. It was an amazing thing. and I just love it. And he's always going to be my Kong.
You can have that one.
Mhm.
You're right, and I think the debt that is owed to the vision of that and the desire and just as I'm reading, he wanted Kong to be big so it could fight dinosaurs. Makes me laugh, but also like that's a very, very simple thing to have launched all of the things that it ended up launching.
That's right. You know, so good. Well, folks, that concludes the countdown of our favorite simians in cinema. It's also the end of my dad jokes.
No.
Thank you so much, Jay Hall, for sitting down, coming up with this idea because it was Jay's idea. And can I tell the story about why we're recording tonight? Because I have something I want to share with you.
But sure.
Okay. So I get a phone call or text from Jay, and it's basically says, listen, I am done with adulting right now. I just need a break. When can we talk about apes? And I was like, you know what, brother? Let's do it. We looked at our first date Tuesday. Boom. We're recording on Tuesday. Later in that day, I get a call text from someone else, another past guest of the show. And he's like, dude, my life sucks right now. I really want to record an episode. When can we do something? Two different guys with the same solution on the same day contacted me.
Jamie, you are man, I don't know if this is going to come out. You're like therapy, like just being, because I think the thing about this and
I need therapy? What?
that's true too. Folks, if you're listening, just Mutual Admiration Society, here we go for a minute. The thing I love about this show is the passion that the people who are on it get to bring as they
Yes.
talk about stuff that they love, right? And so when adulting gets complicated or however you're feeling, to be able to come on for an hour and a half, well, and it's not just coming on for an hour and a half and talking about it, but it's also watching some of these clips today and thinking and remembering these memories and remembering these, in this case, apes that I just are such a part, and most of them are part of my childhood, which is why we love them so much. There's just something about being able to spend time talking about it when you get to be on, but listening to it on the shows that I'm not on, listening to these things that are so fun to think about, so fun to talk about, and listening to the passion that people bring to it. Even things that I don't care much about, I can get excited about listening to because there is that joy that comes in the middle of these conversations.
I cannot disagree with you.
Good medicine, man. It's good medicine.
That's why I always say, you get on these other shows and everybody has this place for something, but you like get on the political shows and they're arguing and they don't love what they're defending. I mean, they may think they do, but they don't. They've got this ingrained thing. Well, my guy's better than your guy, or you're a horrible person if you like this guy and we can't be friends. I don't need any of that. I want to talk about the great Grape ape. I mean, I just had someone on the show for the first time. Super excited to be able. It's probably come out. I think it's going to come out next week after this one airs, and it is cats on screen.
Nice.
And so I'm trying to get this lady to come on the show. Wait, how about this? How about this? How about this? No, it's not right. Okay, that's fine because I don't want to rush. I don't want to push anybody. I want so she comes back and I'm seeing her at a con and we're talking. She goes, really, the only thing I really love is cats. And I'm like, cats is fine. Let's do a show. And same thing, man. I go like I do it. I write them out, my whole list down and everything. And she came in and it's a mess. But you see Grumpy Cat right there?
Yes.
He sat between us and judged us the whole time. So, so I appreciate you saying that, dude. But that is one of the reasons why that and all of the love that I get from Hungry, is the reason why I like to keep doing this show.
Shout out to Buddha.
Yeah. But thank you, Jay. I'm always glad to have you on the show, and I just wish you all the best.
Fun stuff. Love doing it.
Well, I appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you out there for choosing to listen and watch this episode of Fave 5 from Fans. We are thrilled. It drives us bananas that you joined us. And we hope that you had a fantastic time. And if you did, please go subscribe, like, rate, give us the 5 stars that are going to go all the way across there, because I do that now, on whatever platform you listen to. And know, seriously, that 30 seconds, minute that you do really does help support the show and lets us grow and lets us grow. And even if you didn't quite like the show, if it didn't meet your expectations, you could do a little monkey business and like it anyway. See, I told you there were no more jokes, but they're coming to me as I do it.
It's so organic now.
Yeah, because this episode is just more fun than a barrel of monkeys. It really is. Connect with us on media platforms like Twitter X, Instagram, Facebook, almost anywhere that you can. We're out there, and we want to keep the conversation going. Who did we miss? Who was better? What was wrong with your choice that we didn't look at there? Notes. Let us know, talk, and engage. And then maybe you want to come on the show one day. More than welcome to. Just reach out and we'll do it. So, new episodes come out every Friday.
Well, unless they don't.
Yes, unless they don't, okay? So be sure to subscribe and follow us so you can capture all of the episodes. And remember, folks, it may not be the best. It may not be the most popular. But if it's your favorite, that's good enough from us. It's good enough for Jay. That's all. That's good. Thank you. Mr. Hall, take us out.
Folks, go watch a monkey movie.
And read a book.
I'm
really surprised you didn't bring up George. Curious George. I was curious if you were going to bring him up.
And I've got a list of 21, but I followed the rules.
So real quick, why don't you read the other ones off?
Okay. The ones that were not mentioned.
Right.
Here we go. Bingo from the Banana Splits.
Right.
Talk about. Grape Ape is on my list. Curious George on my list. Magilla Gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
Another Hanna-Barbera gorilla. Abu from Aladdin. Rafiki from Lion King. I got Cheetah from Tarzan.
Wise
exactly.
Mueller.
Orange Juice from Life of Pi. Another orangutan. You're welcome. George, the giant white ape from Rampage, the video game. Yep. I did include Mighty Joe Young on my list. Amy from Congo.
Yeah. Nelson loves that movie.
Good one. Marcel from Friends, who you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Bonzo from Bedtime for Bonzo with former President Ronald Reagan.
Right.
Much. And last but certainly not least, Gorilla Grodd from the DC universe.
Epic. Good list. Good list. All right. Take care.
Yeah. Right turn, Clyde.